Okay, so first of all, taking a look at the left wing. I haven't mentioned this before, I don't think, but infantry units are also rated for their ratio, the number of pikes and muskets they've got within units. It was normal in these days for units to be a mixture of pikes and muskets, and that varied over time and with different armies. So for this battle, I'm going to rate all of the Imperialist infantry as musket heavy. That means they've got about 2 muskets for every 1 pike. I'm going to rate the early tercios as mixed. That means that they have approximately 3 muskets to 2 pike. The German foot I'm going to count as musket heavy, the same as the Imperialist foot. One of the exceptions to this rule is our Swedish units, Swedish brigades. One of the advantages of Swedish brigades is that they can change their ratio by moving the units backwards and forwards within the formation. So you can see we've got quite a complicated formation with 1, 2, 3 pike units and then the 6 musket things. So by moving those backwards and forwards, they could either count as lots of pikes or lots of muskets. So at the moment they are going to be counting as mixed, but they can change their ratio around. The reason why this is important is because these units are at the moment mixed. It means that probably it's better for the Imperialist infantry here to try and shoot at the Swedes rather than try and melee them. They will get bonuses for doing that as long as they stay in that formation. So I think they will remain in position here, and hopefully the Swedes will be somewhere here in range to shoot them up next go. But here, because these are mixed units and the opposing infantry are musket heavy, it will pay them to get into combat. So I don't think... No, I thought as much. So they're not close enough to get into close combat with the opposing infantry. So I think what they're going to do is they're just going to try and cross over the stream and then attack in next time. So let's now turn to the Imperialist half of the army and do their move first. Okay, so for this half of the army, we're just going to move these a very slight bit like that to show that they are lining the stream. This unit here, over here, I think that because this is light horse and so they can fire, so I think they probably want to cross that stream and get into contact and get close to these cavalry here so they can shoot them. And this unit wants to move up and provide rear support for this unit here if it can. So this unit wants to move forward, which it can do like so, and now it wants to wheel to conform to that frontage and provide support. So it rolls the dice and gets a 2 and fails. So the commander here will tell them, give them a second chance to pass their test. So they roll the dice and they roll a 4 and succeed. So they move like so to provide support to them. Meanwhile, this unit here needs to cross the stream. So it attempts to cross the stream, and it has, and it get itself into range of this unit. Let's now look on the other flank. Okay, so over here, these 3 units, they just want to cross the stream and get themselves ready to attack next time. So that's going to be, for this unit here, first of all it must take an action test because it's under artillery fire, which is found on 1 or 2, so it's passed. Then it needs a second action test to cross the stream, which again fails on a 1 or 2, so it's passed that as well. So it crosses the stream and stops outside musket range. This unit just needs the single action test because it's not under artillery fire, so it rolls and it passes and gets across the stream. And then last but not least, this unit here is going to roll and it needs to roll again anything but a 1 or 2. It rolls and gets a 6 and crosses as well. Okay, here I think in a perfect world we would like to launch an attack now, but that's going to be an awful lot of dice rolls to do that. So for example, this unit here would need to do a dice roll to cross the stream, and then to wheel to face the enemy, and then charge in. These are Dutch cavalry, and what Dutch cavalry do is they don't, Dutch style cavalry, Dutch tactics cavalry, they don't charge, they counter charge, so they rely on a barrage of fire to stop incoming attacks, and then once if that succeeds, they then counter charge into those. So these units probably have time to do that because they're unlikely to get charged by these units, but it will perhaps make them more vulnerable to being shot at. So I think this turn what they're going to try and do is basically form up to attack for next go. So this unit here is going to try and go across the stream, so it rolls the dice and it rolls 4, so it's got across the stream like so. It now wants to wheel to face this unit here, and it rolls and gets a 6, and it's done that. So it's like so. See, now my instinct to risk is now saying, well, maybe we should go for it. No, I'm going to stick with my plan. I'm going to stay with it. But maybe a more adventurous player might want to attack and hope that the other units in the command over here will get into position. I'm not going to risk it though, so we're going to stop there with that unit, and this unit is going to wheel to join with those, and it rolled a 3. Because these are cuirassiers, actions like wheeling fail on a 1, 2 or 3, so that unit has failed, but we do have our commander here nearby, so he's going to attempt to give them another go, and he's rolled and got a 4 and rolls to get them into formation. So last but not least, this unit here, which if you remember has crossed the stream, but it now needs to wheel to get to this position to form rear support to those other units. It's an arquebusier unit, so it fails wheels on 1, 2 or 3 as well. So it rolls a dice and it's rolled a 5, and therefore it moves into position. So the cuirassiers are still vulnerable, but they can now. They're now in position to charge next go, and cuirassiers can fire, so they are going to be able to fire at the Dutch cavalry. So that now takes us to the combat phase. So starting on the left, the first thing to decide is where the Catholic artillery is going to fire. Well, now it has the angle and to fire in support of this melee here, so it's going to fire there to help in the Martast on that side. So we have 2 Martests to take. First one is for this unit here of Swedish cavalry. It is under fire from these light horse. So once again, it should be fairly easy to see the factors that might apply. So it is under fire from cavalry, which is a +1. They do not get a -1 for being fired at by light horse because the volume of fire is too low. But there is no support and no other factors that might apply. So they roll 2 dice and they score 12 and pass. Which is actually modified to +1 to 13. Here, once again, you can quickly do the modifiers. In this case, it's an ongoing melee. There are no modifiers for an ongoing melee, but this unit is elite. That's what the red marker means, which is a +1. But it is under fire from the artillery. That's what the smoke marker means, which is a -1. It does not have any supporting units or any other units to help it, so it's a +1 for the elite, a -1 for under artillery fire, which is a grand total of 0 straight dice. So it rolls 2 dice and it rolls 7. 7 is a failure, and that would normally result in the loss of 1 of its lives. If you remember, it's got 2 lives, so it'd be quite a serious thing. But we have our commander is here, strategically placed to close, so he can go over here to join the unit and give them a second chance to pass their test. So they roll again, and they roll this time 6. So they failed again, which means that they do take the hit. So I put a little red mark on that. So I'll put that little dice on there because it shows that their unit has 1 life left. So the unit has that unit has failed its morale test and taken the hit. And because it's in the melee and it's cavalry, it must now fall back. This is where having a second supporting line is a great advantage. So for example, if the same thing happened to this unit, it would fall back to here behind its supporting line and rally in that position, and the same would be the case here if this had its supporting unit. But if you remember, these failed to get into supporting distance, into supporting position, and so this unit does not have a rear support. So therefore it moves the full distance of this this stick, like so. Put that there. So it is now, as you can see, quite some distance away from the front. So just to repeat that, if there had been rear support, if for example this unit had been in position here, then the unit would have come back here and stopped behind there, but because there was not any rear support, it has gone a long way here. Also, because it is now routed, it loses its commanded shot, so I'll take these 2 little markers off. The last thing that must be done is we must roll to see if the victorious cavalry want to pursue. Pursuing this is not good. It is not a good thing to do. It is uncontrolled pursuit in disorder. So generally speaking, you want to try and avoid it if you possibly can. It's not the kind of pursuit that you get in some games where you're exploiting a success. So to see if the unit will pursue, you roll a dice and you add and take away factors to the chance to do it. So this unit is trained, which means that they get a +1 to the dice, but it has a commander nearby, so the commander can give it a -1 to the dice, which means that it's on a straight dice roll. They pursue on a 4, 5 or 6, so we roll a dice and we've rolled 6. The unit is going to pursue. Okay, so the unit is going to go straight forward and hit anything that is in its path, which is just going to be clipping this unit here. So normally what you would do is you'd roll a dice for the distance it will go, but as the distance is always a minimum of that distance, it doesn't make any difference, but it can be quite some distance. So this unit goes forward like this and hits that unit there, and this unit is pulled over to here. Okay. You'll notice that the rear support does not follow, so now it's going to have to take at least 1 morale test without any support in position. So not a bad Catholic turn, but could have been better maybe. So let's see what happens in the next Protestant turn. Whoops, I nearly forgot to do the combat on the other flank before we moved on. This is just the cuirassiers here shooting at the Dutch cavalry on the hill. So the Dutch cavalry are going to get a +1 because they're being shot at by cuirassiers. They're also supported, so that's +2, but they are cavalry under fire, which is a -1, so that's a +1 overall. So they roll 2d6 and add a +1. So 6 goes to 7. That's take 1 hit, and the other unit 2 dice, 11, and goes to 12, which is no hit at all. So this unit will get a red marker indicating that it's now got just a single life left. Now we can move on to the Protestant turn.